Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me on the home front. Welcome to episode 35. I do this every day pretty much, except for Sundays. We may have a special open house episode on Sundays sometimes, but we are doing this every day to kind of give you guys a little bit of information about real estate, answer questions that you may have, or give you information that would be helpful to your home buying, selling, or investment transaction. Hey, Edgardo, thank you for jumping on this one. I appreciate it. I really do that you guys actually take the time to spend your time with me. Time is precious. What's up, Mark? Ryan, thank you for joining. We are talking about the 5 items that you need to replace or upgrade in any or every rental property that you buy. So please be sure to hit the like button, love button, share this out. Ryan, you missed our parenting talk, but you can chime in now if you want. This is talking to the investor out there. What's going on, Jose? Pretty much, this is going to give you a tip or items. When you have an investment property, you definitely want to think about replacing these and why. We can talk about parenting. Feel free to jump on. But the first item that they suggested, this is a blog, by the way. I found this and I thought I would share it out because investors do like to know these kinds of things. I personally think it's interesting, some of the reasons that they gave. A toilet. Why is a toilet on the top of the list? Because a toilet can be one of the largest money drains in your property, which is very true. If you have a toilet leak and your water is constantly running, you're going to incur higher than usual water bills. So it's definitely one of the things that you want to replace. It says the main reason is that a toilet is a must-fix item because leaking toilets can run 24 hours a day. Think about that. Leaking toilets run 24 hours a day. A leaking faucet or a leaking shower diverter will result in only a small water issue when you don't turn them on. So this can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Hey, Valentine. Okay, number 2. And if you have any questions, please feel free to stop me. I will explain further. Number 2 is locks. Why do you want to change your locks? Even if the lock is fully functional, you should always change the locks. And every single rental property that you have. You said you just spent $3,200 in plumbing. What type of plumbing, though? Was it a toilet leak or was it something else? Locks is because you never know, or you don't know who possessed the keys before. So instead of coming up with any justifications to convince yourself why it's okay to use old ones, just change them. And that is very true. And it's actually not that much money. You have the smart key where you can just rekey the locks in the house. So it makes it a lot easier. It said there's a money saving tip. If you have multiple properties, you can always recycle locks from time to time. That's actually a really good tip. Playing musical chairs with your locks. Entire plumbing system under the house. Wow. Yeah, on the flip that we were working on, they spent $3,200 to redo the plumbing for the the way that they were setting up the bathroom in the basement. They had to cut the concrete a couple of times and he said it was jacked up from the beginning, but they originally had just a regular soaking tub in the basement, or a regular tub shower combo, and then they ended up putting a beautiful shower, which I'm going to post pictures here soon, the shower and then the big soaking tub and the beautiful tile job that they did. It's really, really nice. Hey, Eric, thanks for joining. Kenny, thank you. Back to our must change items for every property. The third one is going to be light bulbs, including security lights. For common areas such as hallways, using long-lasting, energy-saving light bulbs reduce electricity bill, which is a very good point. I've been in my house since 2013 and I've changed the light bulbs 1 time. Ryan says, when you change locks, then it's also good to get a heavy-duty screws to replace the lock plates. Very good point. Tell me why. I'd like to know the why on that one. I honestly don't know much about changing locks. I've had to change mine, which I thought was odd. The lock stopped working. I've had 2 different doors in the house that it just wouldn't open anymore. I went out to get the mail and the door wouldn't open. It wasn't locked. It just wouldn't open. And I thought that was very strange, but I guess it happens. And then in the garage door, I couldn't lock it anymore. So that's another one. And I thought it was strange since I've only been here almost, I guess, 4 years now. Yeah, I use the Kwikset Smart Key too. Break-ins, it makes door. Okay, that's a good point. It makes the door kick it in even harder. That's a good point. By the way, this is a funny story. When my door stopped working, when the lock stopped working, I tried to kick it in. Didn't work out so well, but I tried anyway. Just didn't work. I thought I was going to be like Superman and bust in my own house. I wasn't thinking clearly. Because if I was successful, what would I have done to the door? Stupid move. But I'm sure it was entertaining for the neighbors, nonetheless. They say once you change the bulbs, it will be some time before you have to change them again. Very true. Energy-saving light bulbs last 9 years. I wonder what the lemon was on mine since it's only been 3 years. Because they've all seemed to go out. I must not have the 9-year bulbs. It says double life for bulbs lasts for 18 years. So these days, LED technology, oh, I wish my mom was on here. Her husband bought LED lights the other day, and she just lit him up. He was like, I'm just going to live in the closet. I'm not allowed to have GMO food. I can't have LED lights. He was like, I'm going to go out and buy new lights, and then we can turn the lights on again. But nobody turned the lights on because I got LED. Everything causes cancer. That was really funny. He said mine didn't make it that long. I know, 1 year. What's up with that? These bulbs are supposed to last years. I don't. Can you grab that box? I want to see how long these lights are. It's up on top of the thing over there. I want to see how long my new lights are supposed to last because they're getting pretty expensive to buy. I got to get 2 more now. I've replaced just about all of them. Yeah, you can say hi. My daughter wants to chime in. 1.8 year life. Keep your tongue in your mouth. So this says 1.8 year life. I don't know what that means. Does that mean it's only supposed to last a year? I don't know. I'm going to have to do some research and really explain this because I'd like to know. Valentine said, hey, daughter.
Hi.
These are floodlights. This is based on 3 hours a day, 1.8. What the hell is 1.8 of a year? Really? Where are they getting these 9-year bulbs from? That's what I want to know. 9 years. I want to know what kind of crap that is. Anyway, so this is supposed to be comfortable, inviting light. Whatever. But they do last longer than your typical bulbs. I know that for sure. The fourth item is the GFCI electric outlets. Now, the rationale behind this is, he said, punish her. Just kidding.
Punisher, what did I do?
We had it out this morning. This afternoon. What's going on, Lori? Thank you for jumping on. We are talking about the 5 items that you should replace or upgrade in every rental property. So back to this one. Number 4 is GFCI electric outlets. These are special electric outlets that shut off automatically when electricity runs through unintended paths. So this is a good one. Such outlets run a little bit more expensive, $10 a piece versus less than $1 a piece. And you know, now that I've just sat here and analyzed the bulbs that I just got, and they're saying 9-year bulbs, I'm gonna have to check out if their information is accurate because I'm starting to feel a little skittish. So turn them off during Christmas since they are inviting lights. Good idea. It says, but they are well worth it in certain places for safety reasons. In fact, they may be required. They are required in certain places. I've had an FHA inspection say that you need to replace certain ones with the GFCI outlets. For places near water, such as the kitchen countertop, bathroom, washer, and dryer. I don't think I have one near the washer and dryer, though. This says, I didn't bother to check the law because whether or not it's required for laws, everyone's safety, you should strongly consider replacing them. It is a good thing for safety that they automatically shut off, so I would agree with that. I don't know about the laws on it, but it's definitely something that you should consider. The last one they're saying, and this is like a duh to me, fire extinguishers and smoke alarms. Install a whole new set of smoke alarms and fire extinguishers. I don't know about every single time you replace or you get a new renter, but you won't have to worry about them for the next several years. And of course, if you use battery operated alarms, you will have to change the batteries. Well, I know my tips are always every 6 months to change the batteries. worst thing for me is when the freaking battery goes off at 4 a.m. It never fails. It's always chirping at 4 a.m. and then I have to get up and find a battery because just taking it out is not going to work. Valentine says, switch valves to quarter turn valves under sinks so they last 10 years. That's a good one. You said yours is very important. But I think the fire extinguishers and smoke alarms, just being cognizant of the batteries is definitely something. And you just want to make sure they're functional in general. Such alarms, it says, by the way, if you're looking for a specific type of smoke alarm to buy, consider buying a dual sensor one. Alarms with both ionization and photoelectric sensors. Wow, those are some pretty high-tech alarms. I don't know. I have some from the ADT system that they monitor mine. So such alarms can detect both the slow smothering fires and fast spread. Wow, I really need to look into these high-tech smoke alarms. But basically, these suggestions are all revolved around water, fire, electricity, and safety, which are really good things to be concerned about for renters. It'll definitely save you. It says, you may think some of them are overkill or certain things are missing. It says, feel free to tweak the checklist. I definitely think they're good places to start. I got this blog from Bigger Pockets, it's a website, a social media website for investors. I always like to read it. Again, I started investing self-taught. I'm not by any means an expert, but I just got started myself. And any tips that they have, I always like to read it and take it with a grain of salt, obviously. There are lots of people who are posting things that are not experts, but it's a good learning tool for me. Edgardo says, I hate that when the fire alarm goes off, and yes, it is always 4 a.m. It's like clockwork. 4 a.m. you hear the damn thing chirping, and you got to go figure out which one's chirping. Why is it chirping at 4 o'clock in the morning, and why couldn't it go off any time earlier than that? Do you think wine bottles are good for the closing gifts? I was told that you want to gift them with something that they can see, which is a really good thing, meaning that something that they're going to have forever. If you have a wine bottle, sorry, my dog wants in here. If you have a wine bottle, they're going to consume it and it's going to be gone and they're going to forget about you. But if you give them something that they're always going to remember that you gave to them, that's a better closing gift. So I've kind of switched it out. There's some good things out there. I'd love to give you some tips. I don't know what's going on with my dog's ear. I'm going to have to look at that. But there's some really good tips. But thinking about in terms of gifts, give your clients something that won't go away, that's not consumable. Let's see. I want to go back to these comments. But your mom is a good person to bounce ideas off, though. Yes, she is. She definitely will let me know. She tells me all the time that I'm mean, but we parent differently. So, do you think that was one I just answered? Let's see. Thank you. And custom wine rack. That's a good one. I'm going to try and con my brother into making one of those. They had one on Pinterest, and I think they got a couple. They made a couple. So, can you fix your dog's ear? I don't think so. I don't know what's going on with his ear. I'm going to have to check that out and see what it is. Something going on with his ear. Just referring to, yesterday's show. Yeah, she's got a lot of good ideas. She thinks I'm a lunatic, but I don't think the apple falls too far from the tree. And she says she's batshit crazy, so we're good to go. At least we work together well. How about giving away wine during the open house? I've done wine during the open house, and I mean, I think it's good. You've got to be careful with that, but I think it's a good idea. A wine and cheese open house. I like that idea. The last couple weeks haven't been so hot in terms, and I don't know if it's the location, but I've had some really, really good open houses. With my 11-foot banners, I've had between 11 and 15 people in, and it just depends on how much marketing you do in advance. You know, I like to do the flyers in advance. I like to do the Facebook ad, the video, all the pictures, inviting people out. Personally inviting people out is a really good way to get people in, and doing a special open for the neighbors, because you never know who the neighbors know, and they may know a friend that wants to move into the neighborhood. So those are good tips for open houses. I like the mega open house, and just putting it out there as a major event and getting a ton of signs is really, really a good thing. Wine doesn't last and encourage alcohol consumption. Personalize it. It makes more impact. I would agree. It definitely does. It does. You do need to personalize it. but at the same time, I'm switching the, closing gifts that I'm doing to something that you can't consume and won't go away. So something that they will see, like a book or something, and they will always remember that you gave it to them, but also staying in contact with your clients. So you become a friend over time. I mean, you're talking about, that's what I do. I mean, I become friends with my clients and I reach out to them to see how things are going. And that's how you maintain relationships with people. For me, it's not just about being their realtor when they need it. It's about getting to know people, seeing how they're doing, and becoming their friend. Because you become very good friends when you're in the contract process. They really, things get intimate really quick when you start learning about people's finances and how stressed out they are about the deal. So I think milk and cookies would be better. That's not a bad idea, but I don't think those are going to last either. Which is the best way to get buyers? Oh, that's a whole nother discussion, Roy. There's a lot of ways to get buyers. I mean, I've done so many different things, but we'll have to touch on that another day. But it's you can get internet leads, and they say there's a whole follow-up system to that, and you really just have to, a lot of people focus on their sphere and they ask for referrals, but that's, again, to me, is becoming a friend to someone. I don't just want to be your realtor. I want to be your friend, and I don't just want you to think of me when you want to sell a house. I mean, I would like you to remember me when you're ready to sell or buy, but at the same time, it doesn't, if you don't choose me, I don't take it personal. Maybe you don't want to work with a friend, and that's fine too, but I want you to know that I'm here. I'll answer your questions, and if you want to refer someone to me, then that's great too, but I'll help you as much as I can. And if I don't know, I do want to know because I like learning. So I'll ask other people the questions and find out what I can find out to help you in the best way I can. Even if I can't help you, I'll try my hardest to find out what else you can do. What about that's it, open houses, Eric? That's one you want to talk about? I'll note that down for another Homefront episode. But again, I really thank you guys for spending your time. And Roy, we will definitely touch on that. I'll do that later this week. So I have one on buyers and open houses. So we will do those this week. I'm keeping this between 9 and 10 every night because that seems to have the best time that people are home and relaxed and can actually jump on. And gifts, you always come through, Ryan. You always come through with some suggestions. I'll never forget your glitter bomb suggestion. But I'm sure this link here is for realtors out there for gifts. So guys, any realtors, check that link out. Ryan always comes through with some great suggestions. Thanks again for spending your time. And any topics you want to hear me talk about or you want to engage with me on, just let me know. Something your brother can make. Yeah. Oh, yes. And I have to con him into that because I have to tell you, when he stayed here before they bought their house, and I tried to get him to put the knobs on my cabinets, and I asked him for a long time, and I just said, forget it, I'm going to do it my damn self. And I went out to Home Depot and had the guy at the Home Depot explain what I needed to do. Now, it's not perfect, but I got my damn knobs, and I did it myself. So, Harriet Homeowner over here did herself. Best way to get buyers, get to know your client and find what they need to buy more. Exactly. I say you got to become friends with them. And I had one guy reach out to me one time, and I won't take too much more time, but I had one guy reach out to me one time and say, well, I don't know you, but he was inquiring about a listing that I had. And I said, I understand, but I'm definitely going to try to get to know you so I can help you. And he said, well, I've been building a relationship with another person for 2 years. And he wouldn't even take my, but I'm going to touch on that, Ryan. No, he wouldn't even talk to my loan officer because he said, I don't know your loan officer. I mean, he was building an intimate relationship with a realtor and a loan officer way before we even got to know, 2 years. He wanted to make sure that he really knew them and trusted them before he would deal with anybody. So I can respect that. You want to make sure that the person's looking out for your best interest. And buying a house is one of the biggest purchases you're ever going to make. So you want to make sure you're dealing with someone who actually cares about you. Own a bunch of homies. You said own a bunch of homes, tenants refer you. Yes, you're very right about that. What's up, Jason Daniels, the Titan? Thanks for jumping on. Now, Ryan said Home Depot has good DIY classes. They do, but it wasn't the DIY class. When I went in there, I went in like a stupid girl. And I was like, can you show me how to put the knobs on my cabinets? And you get a lot that way. They really, they want to help. The man in the store wants to help the girl learn something. So that's how I found out. He gave me this, he cut me a piece of wood, told me to put it on the back of the cabinet so when I drilled a hole in the cabinet that it wouldn't go like too far in. So it was perfect. He really hooked me up and I took care of it. I'll have to show you some pictures. There's like one crooked one, but I think I did a pretty good job for never putting knobs on my cabinets. I think I did good. I'm proud of myself. But thank you guys again for joining. I appreciate you watching and spending time with me every evening. And I'm definitely going to cover those topics. So I will see you guys again tomorrow. And be sure not to be selfish with this information and share it out to your friends. Talk to you guys tomorrow.